Hey, how you doing, my friends? Welcome to a quick live. I've got about 20 minutes before I have to get on a call. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about what are the hurdles that newbies in this business have to deal with when they come into this business. I actually got asked this question recently from someone, and they asked me, what are the hurdles for someone who is brand new to this business? If you are coming into this business like as a brand new newbie, you're not going to have any contacts, you're not going to have any buyers, you're not going to have any supplier connections. You're literally starting this business from scratch when you come into this business. And so someone asked me, what are the hurdles that you have to overcome as a newbie to this business of flipping pallets of inventory? What do you have to deal with when you are brand new to this business? And yes, there are obstacles that you have to overcome. Like when you come into any new business, you've got to deal with obstacles, you've got to deal with walls that you've got to jump over or break down. And what a lot of people get is fearful when they are brand new to a business, and I call them limiting beliefs, really, because the thing is, people have what I call limiting beliefs. When you are new to doing something, you've basically got to figure things out and deal with them one at a time, and then get good at it, and then move on to the next thing. So when you are brand new to this business of buying and selling goods, you are literally starting from scratch. And I can imagine if I started from scratch right now as a newbie, I probably would be fearful, because I'd be thinking, well, I've got no connections, or I've got no buyers that I could sell to. Got no suppliers to offer me the surplus inventory deals. Do I need warehousing? Do I need storage? Do I need to know about how to put deals together? Do I need a website even? Do I need to use the phone? Do I need to actually speak to people and understand what I'm talking about? Do I need to be an expert when I'm dealing with people, or when I'm dealing with certain products or offers? Do I need to be an expert at certain things? So guys, I'm going to run through some things that basically what I'm trying to do is overcome these limiting beliefs that people have on their mind when they are brand new to this business, okay? Because like I say, when you're new to something, like if I started a brand new business doing something, I'm going to be probably thinking, how am I going to do that? Like, how am I going to do that? How am I going to figure that out? And there's all these things going on in my head that I'm going to be thinking, well, I've got to try and, as a newbie, I've got to try and figure all these things out. And what I want to basically show you is some easy ways to overcome all these limiting beliefs that as a newbie to this business you would have. So if you were starting from scratch today or tomorrow, how you can make it easier for yourself, okay, as far as all these things that I've mentioned. So let's start with right, I've just started in this business today. I've got no connections. I've got no connections whatsoever. So, like, where do I start? Like, How am I going to make some money buying and flipping pallets of inventory when I've got 0 connections? So, obviously, I'm not going to go into major detail on building connections because I do that inside my coaching program. But there are methods to build connections. And when I say connections, I'm talking about suppliers, okay? Actual companies who you would be reaching out to see if they've got any pallets of surplus inventory in their warehouse, yeah? There are some very, very quick ways of building connections. Very, very quick ways. The main ways that I teach are finding connections through Google searches and then building those connections. But, if I was starting immediately, I would basically go to the biggest business-to-business platform in the world, which is LinkedIn. And I would be making connections on LinkedIn on a daily basis. And by the end of, if I just started today, or say I started on Monday, by Friday I would have at least 400. I would have at least 100 new connections after a week, and then after a month I would have 400 new connections. So that basically would entail you spending literally between 10 minutes and 20 minutes connecting with people. Like on a night you could build 10 to 20 connections each night. It would take you 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and that is what I would do right as a newbie from the start. I would start building connections on a daily basis on LinkedIn because it's simple to do. And what you're actually doing is you are connecting with a person, a real person, as opposed to cold emailing companies. You're connecting with a real person, and if you connect with 20 a day on LinkedIn, by Friday you've made 100 new connections, okay? And then what I would then do is I would get all their email addresses, even phone numbers if that's possible, and I would then be if they've got a phone number on their contact details on LinkedIn, I would be adding them on WhatsApp, and I will be messaging them and saying we've just connected on LinkedIn, and get into a conversation. That's what I'd be doing right from the beginning, okay? I'm doing that now, guys, and I've been in the game a long, long time. But if I was a newbie and I had no connections whatsoever, I would be connecting with people on LinkedIn 20 a day minimum, 20 a day minimum. By Friday, Monday to Friday, you're going to have 100 minimum brand new connections. And then I'd do it again the following week. And I'd do it again the following week. By the end of the month, as a newbie, I would have 400 new connections. Now that's assuming that they've all accepted you as a connection. Okay, now obviously you might get a percentage that haven't accepted you yet, because a lot of people don't log into LinkedIn on a daily basis. So you could connect with 20 to 30 people each evening. It will take you no more than half an hour, okay, if you follow the methods that I teach. So anyone that says, look, as a newbie, I'm a bit fearful, I've got no connections, and that's going to stop me from moving forward. No, it's not, guys, because the great thing is about making connections, okay, first of all, it's completely free. Building connections. It costs no money to find connections either through Google searches or through LinkedIn connections. That's a free method that you can use. You've got access to free data on the internet, LinkedIn, Google searches to build connections. All it's costing you is your time, okay? And let's not even get into haven't the time, because if you haven't the time, then you haven't the time to be successful. You haven't time to make money on the side of your job. You haven't time to run your own business. If you haven't time, then this game isn't for you, because all the guys that say they haven't time are the ones that have time to watch Netflix. They have time to go for a few coffees each day from Starbucks. They have time to go and meet the friends. They have time to go out for dinner. They have time to do other things apart from making money things. But they always have time to do things that don't make money, So I don't believe all this bullshit with anyone that you don't have time, because everyone has time, okay? You make time. But the great thing about LinkedIn is you can just connect. You can literally build, like I'm doing next week in my live group coaching. If any of you are on here, next Tuesday we're going to do another live group coaching. I'm going to do my latest strategy on how I build connections for literally 10 minutes a day on LinkedIn and get constant offers of infantry coming through each week from those connections that I make. And I've just done a deal on some electric bikes that made $4,000, and that was on the back of this LinkedIn strategy, okay? So it takes me 10 minutes each evening off my mobile phone on the LinkedIn app. 10 minutes it takes each evening to build 20 odd connections, 20 connections. That's 400 connections each month consistently, okay? Which brings me consistent surplus infantry offers coming in on email all the time or on LinkedIn Messenger. That's just one method that I teach, guys. I teach lots of methods. So yeah, one of the hurdles as a newbie is, if you've got no connections when you first start, trust me, you can build hundreds, even thousands of connections within the first few weeks of starting in this business. There's loads of great methods. You can build thousands of connections. You can use, email extractors, email software. You can use virtual assistants. There's just so many ways of building a lot of connections very, very quickly. So that is a hurdle that as a newbie you can overcome very, very simply, very quickly, very easily. Okay. Number 2, no buyers. So of course, if you're a newbie to this business, you're going to be thinking, well, what if I find some pallets of surplus? I've got no buyers. I'm going to be stuck. Like, I've got no one to sell it to. Guys, that's why when you come into the program and start working with me, that is part of the service that I offer, where I give you access to thousands of buyers immediately, okay, without you having to go and find your own buyers. So that is a great benefit of working alongside me, the fact that you can literally, start from day one and have access to a big network of buyer connections. So if you just started today and you got offered some surplus infantry, in a week's time or a couple of weeks' time, in your mind straight away that I'm here to help you find a buyer for that infantry. It don't always happen. We don't always find a buyer. Sometimes it's not even about finding the buyer. It might just be the infantry you've been offered. Just might be the wrong product or the wrong price. But you can actually start from day one as a newbie and have access to thousands of buyers immediately. Okay. Number 3, you've nowhere to store that inventory that you get offered. Guys, do not worry. You will never be storing any inventory. So, one of the hurdles that I hear all the time, or what I call limiting beliefs, people go, well, if I get offered that inventory and I buy it, where would I store it? Like, which warehouse would I use to store that inventory? Guys, we flip deals without using any storage or warehousing. I've said this before, but you will never have to worry or have the headache of storing any inventory that you get offered. Okay, we're flipping deals straight on, so you haven't ever got the headache of holding any inventory. You will never see any inventory or hold any inventory that you get offered. So you don't have any worries or fears about that's a hurdle that you don't need to overcome. You don't even need to think about any inventory that you get involved with. You don't even have to think about having to touch it or see it or hold that inventory. That will never ever happen, and I can 100% guarantee that as well. Okay. Number 4, another hurdle that you may have as a newbie to flipping inventory is, and I hear this a lot as well, guys, is, well, I'm a newbie. I'm not an expert. So how am I going to do this? How am I going to get into this at the beginning when, I'm not an expert? Like, how does that look to suppliers that offer me that inventory? Or how does that look to maybe buyers that I find? How am I going to look to them? I'm not going to look like an expert. Well, guys, there are methods actually for you to look like an expert right from day one. Okay, the first one is that I actually give you email templates, email letters, and letters to send on LinkedIn as well. So these letters obviously come across as professional. It makes you look professional and it makes you look like an expert from day one. Okay, it don't make you look like a newbie. It makes you look like an expert because you're using the actual proven email letters that I use myself in my business. So these letters, straight away, when you start reaching out to suppliers, you're going to look like an expert straight away. When you get into conversations on email or in Messenger with a supplier that's offered you that inventory, then there's ways to make yourself look like an expert, because when I see that offer and I help you one-to-one on that offer that you've been offered, I will be telling you what to ask those suppliers. Or I will have buyer interest, and that buyer who's interested will be asking me questions about that inventory, and we will then be asking the seller the same questions. So all we're doing is we're getting into a conversation with people, but we are asking questions that are related to that inventory, either from an interested buyer who's asking those questions, or it's me asking those questions. From experience, I know what to ask. When you start asking these questions, when you reply back on email or Messenger or wherever, whatever communication platform you're using, when you are replying back with these specific questions on that inventory, you look like an expert. You look like you're a professional. You look like you know what you're talking about. Does that make sense? So you don't have to worry about, I'm panicking here. I don't know what to say. I've got this offer through. And I did this the other week with someone, I think it was their first offer that they had through, and they were panicking a little bit. I said, don't worry. I says, I'm going to type back to you exactly the questions you need to ask or what you need to say. Literally, all you need to do is copy and paste what I've said. Okay, that's all you need to do. Copy and paste exactly the questions that I've asked. And that's all you have to do. Is, working alongside me, I like to make things as easy and simple as possible. How simple can it be if, as a newbie to this business, I'm telling you what to say to the supplier that's offered you those goods? I'm telling you what to ask, what questions to ask the supplier that's offered you that inventory. If you're going back each time and asking these questions that I've literally typed out and told you to ask, you're copying and pasting that back. You don't need to be an expert, do you? You don't need to be, because you got me to help you, helping you know what to ask, the right questions to ask. So all you're doing is it's just easy. I'm making it so a child could do it. Yeah, I'm making it idiot proof. That's what I do. When my students in my program forward me deals, I study the details and and they'll tell you. I reply back and I say, can you ask the following? Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, etc. Please ask these things, okay? All they do is copy and paste what I've typed out, and they will paste it into their email back to the supplier. That's all they have to do. It's idiot proof, okay? It's child proof. My 5-year-old granddaughter could actually do it. So no, as a newbie, you don't need to be an expert, okay? You can come across as looking like a professional, and not just that, you can come across looking like you are an expert, because you're asking questions that are related to that inventory that you've been offered. And when these suppliers see the questions you're asking, they're thinking, oh right, okay, he's obviously got a bit of knowledge on this stock, on this inventory. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's talking about. So guys, that is a limiting belief that you need to be an expert from day one. It's probably one of the few industries, certainly working with me, where you can actually start from day one and look like a real expert at what you're doing, okay? And that's from working alongside me. Let's have a look. Don't know how to flip the stock. That's another hurdle for newbies. So yeah, of course, when you just started, have you any idea how to buy and flip some stock, some inventory? Of course you haven't. You've not a clue. That's what the course is for inside the program. It teaches you step by step what to do when you get an offer from a company, what to ask, what product details you need, then what to do afterwards, and then how to find buyers to approach with that offer, and how to validate that offer with a buyer, or simply show me the offer and I will validate that offer with my network of buyer connections, and then help put that deal together. So no, it's not a hurdle that you have to face being a newbie, because you will get my help from beginning to end when flipping a deal, okay? The guys in my program will tell you, I'm here for every step of the way, from helping you build connections right through to literally money in the bank, profit in the bank, okay? There's a roadmap from beginning to end. There's a roadmap right from finding connections, right through to getting offered some inventory, right through to finding a buyer, right through to negotiating the prices, right through to doing the financial transactions, right through to getting your profit in the bank. There's a step-by-step process, and I hold your hand and help you every step of the way. So no, as a newbie, that isn't a hurdle, because I help you get over each hurdle until we reach that point where, you know, there's profit in a deal and we can actually close a deal and reach that point where there's profit in the bank. All right. Next one. No money. Another hurdle which someone mentioned to me is, I'd love to get into this business, but I've no money to buy infantry with. Guys, you don't need a cent to buy any infantry with, okay? You don't need 1 cent or 1 penny or 1 euro cent, okay? And that I will 100% guarantee. I will put in writing even that you don't need 1 penny to pay for any inventory out of your own pocket, all right? So as a newbie, that is not a hurdle that you will have to face or come across ever, okay? You will never need a cent of your own money to pay for any inventory. If you ask any of the students in my program, ask them how much money they have invested in infantry, and they will tell you 0, okay? They're all making money, but without investing any money in any infantry whatsoever. That's from using the methods that I teach. And again, I will 100% guarantee that you come into the program, you will never ever have to use a cent of your own money, a penny of your own money to buy inventory with. Ever, okay? That is a big limiting belief, because a lot of people think, shit, you know, what if I get offered a truckload of products? Like, how am I going to afford that? How am I going to afford to pay for that? Guys, don't worry about it. We can get a deal done from beginning to a cent of your own money. I'm going to have to speed up here because I've got to get on a call in a couple of minutes. Another hurdle that newbies have, or limiting belief, is I need a website. I'm gonna have to have a website, you know, to advertise my business. Guys, forget all that at the beginning. You know, even the first year or 2, you don't need a website, okay? You can point your supplier to your UK partner, me, who has a website. You can say you work alongside Matt Goldberg of Stocklot World Limited, and here's his website address. It's going to make you come across as professional because you are partnering with me, a well-established company. And that's all you have to do, simply. That's all you have to do to start with. You don't need to mess around with your own websites. You can do it eventually, but to start with, you can just say, you know, you're partnering with Matt Goldberg, and you work alongside me, and this is his website, and it's just going to make you come across as professional and trustworthy and legit as well. And finally, another hurdle for newbies when you're first starting in this business is I'm fearful of speaking to people on the phone. I'm not really confident. I'm a bit nervous about having conversations on the phone. Guys, I'm doing deals every week without having one single conversation on the phone. All, like, I would say 99.9% of my communication with supplier contacts or buyer contacts, it's all done 100% online. Online communication. Look at all the online communication methods you've got. You've got email, you've got WhatsApp, you've got LinkedIn Messenger, you've got Facebook Messenger, you've got text. You know, mainly I would say it's email and WhatsApp. They're the 2 major forms of communication that I personally use with people that I'm doing business with. Very rarely I get on the phone because I like to do things speed effectively, time effectively. I like to do things at speed. I don't like small talk on the phone. People like chit-chatting. You know, before you've started like talking about a deal. You've been talking for 10 minutes about the weather or holiday or something, and you know, I can't be bothered with all that anymore. Gone are the days where I want to be doing small talk on the phone. You don't need to get into phone conversations, okay? You can communicate with all your connections through all these online communications. You're just typing out messages. You're not having to be fearful about speaking to a person on the phone. Very, very rarely that will happen. Ask some of my students. Guys, I'm going to have to end it there, but listen, I hope that has helped with, you know, anyone thinking of coming into this business who's like a brand new newbie to this business of flipping inventory. You know, all these hurdles you can overcome immediately, guys. You know, there's easy ways to overcome all these main obstacles when you are a newbie in this business. You can come into this business with zero connections, and, you know, get started very, very quickly. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed that one. And again, you know, I'll leave later I'll put in the comments a link for anyone that wants to get on a free strategy call to apply to see if you can work with me, flipping inventory, get you into our coaching program and teach you how to get started in this business. I'll catch up with you guys very, very soon. All the best. Have a good day.